Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to another What Do You Want to Watch Broken News Report, covering all the latest news from days 3 and 4 of San Diego Comic-Con. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley, and joining me again is Dylan Blight.
Very excited to be here to talk all things Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're excited. Woo! To be fair, the second 2 days kind of weren't as great because, well, this isn't going to be as exciting as probably the first 2 days because we've already covered the massive announcements that happened in Hall H when Marvel made their Phase 4 announcements. So if you go back in the What Do You Want to Watch feed, you can find our full-on discussions about all 11 things that they announced there. So definitely check that out. But we'll be talking about a few other trailers and one or two bits of news. So we might as well just jump in. First up, let's talk about Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer, a new series coming to TBS in America, released a trailer. Of course, it was originally a graphic novel. I think even like a Japanese manga or something from memory, off the top of my head.
I think it's like a French comic or something.
French,
like that,
Japanese, pretty similar.
Something like that.
And then, of course, it was a film released within the last 10 years. I know Chris Evans was in it.
I love the movie.
Yeah? Big fan?
That's my thing. I haven't seen the movie. I'm a really big fan. I've watched it several times, which affects my views on the trailer for the TV show, obviously, because I do have the movie. The movie, I'm going to quickly go over that before getting into the TV show. I would highly suggest everyone watch the movie. I think it's a underrated thing, and what do you call it? Like a lot of people haven't even heard of it, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's got Chris Evans in it, but even then, a lot of people...
It was before Chris Evans was the Chris Evans we know now.
Well, that's true. It has Chris Evans in it, Ed Harris, John Hurt, Tilda Swinton, Jamie Bell, Octavia Spencer, Alison Pill, a bunch of other people, but I suppose they're like the biggest American name stars in it. And it was directed by
Bong Joon-ho. Who did the host, Parasite. Okja.
Yeah, most recently Parasite, and then Netflix Okja the year before that. And then also one of his most famous movies, I suppose, is
Mother.
The Host, which was Mother.
Probably The Host is the biggest.
Movies. Yeah, he's done a bunch of great movies. But Snowpiercer, the movie, is really, really good. And the TV show trailer and the TV show was originally being done by someone else too, by the way, which I'm struggling to remember. Someone dropped out of it, like a horror director or someone like that, I think. Someone was originally associated with it who I was kind of on board with being the head honcho of the TV show. And then when they dropped out, I was like, my fears for this are kind of building at this point. So I don't know if there was that might be listed on the Wikipedia, I suppose, someone who dropped out of it, or the trivia or something like that. But yeah, the movies basically and the TV show will share the same story.
Josh Friedman from Sarah Chronicles. He was attached.
It was someone else. I thought it was someone else. Someone did drop though. Maybe
Graham Mason, who did Orphan Black.
No, he's doing it now.
Okay.
Well, no, he dropped to do the
No, Scott Derrickson. That's it. It was announced that Scott Derrickson would direct the pilot.
Thank you. Scott Derrickson, yes, that's exactly.
He did direct the pilot, but then he refused to return for reshoots. So John Hawes came on and did the rest.
Yeah, there was a bunch of, I think, what do you call it? Conflicting behind the scenes issues about what he wanted to do. It sounded like potentially like the level of like what it would be rated and these sorts of things and the violence and whatever else you want to call it. So,
jeez. Here's the quote from Derrickson about the reshoots. The 72-page Snowpiercer TV pilot script by Josh Friedman is the best I've ever read. The feature-length pilot I made from that script may be my best work. The new showrunner has a radically different vision for the show. I'm foregoing my option to direct the extreme reshoots. Doesn't instill much faith.
Doesn't instill much faith at all, to be honest. Because, well, to set up here for people who don't know, I'll just read the IMDb synopsis for the movie because that's what I've got open in front of me. In a future where a failed climate change experiment has killed all of life except for the lucky few who boarded the Snowpiercer, a train that travels around the globe, a new class system emerges. And basically, the train is like, say, at the very, very back of the train, you have, it's basically the bums of the world. This is where the trash of the what's left of civilization. This is the bum. This is the very lowest of low class. These people don't go to school. These people have no schooling. These people work these shitty jobs day in and day out on train and barely survive, kind of thing. And they're looked upon like trash. And that's what Chris Evans' character is in the movie, and a bunch of other characters as well. As you move up through the train, you get into higher social structures of kids attending school and lavish fucking, 5-star hotel looking shit. And, it continues on and continues on. And obviously it won't spoil everything. But basically that's how the whole train's set up. And the movie is, and the TV show will be somewhat the same, I guess, because it's based on the same source material. But the movie follows Chris Evans and a bunch of other characters who lead a charge basically to start a revolution to take over the train and to take it back from the ultra rich, whatever you want to call them, like people that are running this society now that's left on the train. And the movie follows them moving up through the train to the very top to get to the front and see what can be done. So the TV show is going to follow the same. Now, my biggest problem, and when I read into the Scott Derrickson thing, is that, and my problem I've had since that, is he says the pilot's really good. And I feel like as a TV show, they could stretch the story to one season, maybe two. But what it sounds like they may be doing is trying to make this into a 4, 5, 6 seasons long
thing,
which to me just sounds utterly terrible. That sounds like very dragged out storylines and things. And they're going to get trapped in certain areas of the carriages and whatever else is going to happen doesn't super intrigue me. The trailer itself, with all that aside, I didn't mind. I do like the cast, and I guess that's kind of what my the golden nugget and all of this is. You've got Jennifer Connelly.
Yep.
She's great. Well, usually she's great. You've got David Diggs.
David.
David Diggs. Is it Dags or Diggs?
Diggs.
I forget.
Yep.
Diggs. So you've got those two as the stars, and that adds a little bit of credence to it, I guess. And I like the way the train is set up. I guess it looks a lot cleaner, a lot less dirty than the film, but I guess that's like a production value thing somewhat. But overall, like the visual style of it. But I'm still not 100% sold. And if anything, watching the trailer for the TV show made me just want to go watch the movie, which is what I'd suggest a lot of people do.
Yeah.
What do you think, though, as someone who's not seen the movie or had no history of it, I guess?
I mean, I instantly thought, how is this going to be stretched out into a TV series?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I get the feeling what's the episode plots going to be? It didn't really explain that. It definitely looked like a movie trailer, which is fine, but I would like to see what is actually going to be happening over the season rather than get the impression it's a movie.
Every episode would just be a cliffhanger, I presume,
I guess they could just tell the story and split
and
up.
Cliffhanger.
Or it could just be
really
like the Last Civilization show, where everybody's just trying to get along, like a Battlestar Galactica, except with no Cylons.
Please no. Because one of the movie, one of my favorite things about it is that, there's a little bit at the start where, of course, they have to set up the structure and the world that you're being introduced and how everything's working and whatever else. But once those characters start moving through the train on their mission, it's pretty non-stop, And when I'm talking about the violence, by the way, and they say that the TV show is going to have a level of violence to it and stuff. The movie isn't ultra graphic, it's not like a horror movie or something like that. But there are several fight scenes and what have you. It's violent in an action sort of way, not violent in a horror movie sort of way. If you know what I'm trying to say. So like there's several good choreographed fight scenes in the movie and whatever else. And I'm like, this is on like TBS or whatever. Like, how are they going to pull this off? So I don't know. This falls into my category.
Yeah.
Will I
Other
watch the
thing
pilot?
is,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
believe it's on a train.
What, just because of the way they were shooting it, or the way it was? What makes you not believe it's on train?
I don't know, just the sets. It's some of them. They look very wide. Like,
yeah, I get that.
yeah,
I just depends how they're shooting it and stuff.
yeah. Maybe they just need to make the like outside shots with the train, make the train look wider. But it's fine. Next trailer on our list, they showed a new trailer for Watchmen. The who's doing with this one?
Yeah, Damien Lindelof.
It is Damien Lindelof,
the showrunner. Yeah.
Crazy. I have no idea what is happening in this. It definitely doesn't look like an adaptation of Watchmen. If anything, it looks like an adaptation of Doomsday Clock. It looks like it's set after the events of Watchmen.
That's the very funny thing of this series is that like they've in the comics they're doing this, the sequel Doomsday Clock thing, which is a tie-in that introduces like the DC characters collide with the Watchmen universe, and that's like but it's supposedly a direct sequel to the comic, whereas this TV show is also, from what it seems, judged in the trailer, a direct sequel to the comic / movie, however you want to look at it as well. The trailer is one of the most confusing fucking things I've watched in recent memory, though.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening.
It is absolute nuts. And the thing though is, I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, okay, so like this police officer comes in, it's like so and so Blake. I'm like, okay, so that's like Silk Spectre and what's the fuck's daughter or someone, I guess. Like that's who the cop is. We've got name Blake here, and then you see what's his fuck? Jeremy Irons is sitting there, and he's playing Adrian / Jesus, mental blank on all the fucking characters' names here.
Yeah.
The really rich, smart dude who causes all the trouble. He's playing him, and whatever else. You're trying to put together the pieces here, but then you have like all these people putting on Rorschach masks. What's that mean? What the fuck's going on there? Then you have all these cops in response putting on masks. So now the cops are in masks.
Ozymandias, that's who it is.
Ozymandias, thank you. It's funny how I remembered his
first name.
His first name of his actual name, not his superhero name, whatever. Then you have all these, cops in masks. So I guess from what this whole sets up this dichotomy of, if the comic and movies, like who watches a Watchmen, then now you've got cops in masks and Rorschachs in masks. It's like who's the bad guy if everyone's in masks, and they have a line about the Blake girl says about who do you trust in masks, who do you tell who's the good guy and the bad guy? I can't tell anymore. These sorts of things. So there's just so many characters introduced to you in this trailer, and like so many concepts and so much going on. It's funny though because it's quite a long trailer. And you get shown so much, but I've never felt like I've watched this much in a trailer yet. Just being like, I have no fucking clue,
no idea what's going on
here. Absolutely no idea. And I'm not saying that in a bad way either. I kind of like it.
Yeah. There's shots of pigs running through places. There's like falling. I don't know. There's some sort of little birds, I think. Falling from the sky.
I was going to say, there's the ship that looked like Night Owl ship.
Yeah, the Night Owl ship looks like it's in there.
Yeah.
And they have the like pirate flag from the like.
Yeah, the black flag. From the comic.
Crazy.
Then of course, Dr. Manhattan himself shows up at the end of the trailer, back on Earth, returning from Mars. So, and they do several things in this to show you that it's like post comic. Like saying how, everyone's dressed up as Dr. Manhattan and Dr. Manhattan's on Mars. They talk about that. And I like how once they say that the Bowie song kicks in. I thought that was quite a nice.
Yeah.
Like the way the trailer played out from then. But yeah, it's like, I like the way it looks. It looks high budget. It looks good. I like the potential for this, like for what kind of story they could tell. I'm not against this being a sequel to the comic / movie as much as Alan Moore would kill a person to stop it from happening, I'm sure, because he hates his stuff being turned into movies and whatever else. But I like what I'm seeing. I like how confused I am. I'm pretty ready to just sit down and be like, okay, what the fuck is this about? Yeah, I'm keen. It's only a couple months away.
Yeah, so this comes out in October. So yeah, definitely one to be keeping your Foxtel subscription for.
Yeah, I think I'll rewatch the movie because it's probably been about 2 years since I've watched it, and now I'm like, might need to rewatch it. It must be time. It's time to watch The Watchmen again, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Get ready.
Next up, we got a new trailer for season 3 of Westworld. Of course, I haven't watched Westworld, but Dylan, do you have thoughts, opinions on Westworld season 3?
Firstly, you should make sure to subscribe to Bevan World on your podcast feeds or check out youtube.com/Explosion Network for our Westworld after show called Bevan World, of which we'll return one way or another for season 3 of Westworld when it comes back. But
I'm pretty sure
the thing,
Nick's on board for season 3, right?
I will turn him into a robot if he doesn't say that he's on board. But I love this trailer. I love what they're doing with this. And obviously I can't talk about this without spoilers for the second season. But at this stage, my general rule for TV stuff is that, like, if there's a trailer out for the next season, it's like kind of open territory, you know? Like, if someone says don't spoil a thing, sure, don't purposely spoil them, but, you know, like, people are allowed to cover these sorts of things in
it's news
and whatever else and whatever. But so the end of the second season has not everyone getting out of Westworld, but a few characters managed to get their way out of Westworld. Most notably is Evan Rachel Wood's character Dolores, who makes it out. Jeffrey Wright's character Bernard makes his way out as well, although kind of not on his own regard. Charlotte Tessa Thompson is kind of out, except for this way it gets confusing because I don't know if I should go over it because it's too much of it. But Dolores puts herself inside Tessa Thompson's character to get out, but then she rebuilds her own body outside of the park and then gets herself back into that. And then there's like basically two Doloreses. I know it's very confusing. And then we also see in the trailer that Thandie Newton's Maeve is. Well, this is where it gets confusing because Maeve's character or Thandie Newton is seen in what looks to be I don't know, like 1940s, 50s Germany, like a Nazi. You see like Nazi flags up in the background and tanks and sorts of stuff. So it seems like she's in another park somewhere, which means that it's probably not Maeve because she would be called a different character there if she's been like reprogrammed and rebooted and her body's been moved over to work in that new park because Westworld was shut down after the events of season 2. But that's super interesting because it means that we are going to see a new park as well as what we assume is the real world, although it could be proved that what we see in the trailer isn't the real world as much as they're telling us the world where Aaron Paul's character is being and everyone's walking around in. It looks very futuristic. There's fucking robots and whatever else. But I mean, by the end of the third season, they could be like, and this was also a park. It was the Future World because that was also one of the books. Future World is another Westworld thing. That was another park, so they could do a big swapsy roopsy there. And not, pretty much all season, I'm going to be wondering if that is actually the real world or if it's just another park because that's always going to be the question. But we see what looks like Dolores trying to start up a war, I guess, against the humankind and whatever else, and don't really get too much idea what Aaron Paul's character is doing in this trailer though. We got heaps of Aaron Paul in the first trailer. It was solely, I love that first trailer they released for the third season because if you had no idea that it was a Westworld trailer, you were watching it like, what is this weird sci-fi thing about Aaron Paul about? And then when it got to the end, he bumps into Dolores and then it comes out and it's like says Westworld 3, and that trailer was really, really good. Whereas this one, you only spot Aaron Paul in the background of a couple scenes here and there. But I think it's super brave and super intriguing just as a series to, obviously since the show's called Westworld, it's not really about Westworld at all anymore and you're not going to even see it anymore. So I just think for a show to up and change and like actually move forward this much is super intriguing. And I know a lot of people didn't like the second season as much as the first, but I would say the first season's better, sure, but I still loved both seasons quite a lot. I love the characters, I love the world, and I thought it was a really, really good trailer. And give it to me. And also, I just think with all the HBO stuff, like between this, Watchmen, what was the thing we talked about in the first episode? The polar bear book thing?
Here's Dark Materials.
Dark Materials. It's like between all these things, it's basically like HBO's being like, look how great all these shows look. Are you still angry about Game of Thrones? Forget about it. Look at all these cool new shows we've got. Like, Westworld's great, Watchmen's great, and Dark Materials is great. It's like, forget about Game of Thrones. It's over. Move on with your life.
Well, now that they've got all their budget back from spending on Game of Thrones, they can throw out a bunch of new stuff.
Well, I always wondered if Westworld was meant to be the transitional takeover for their bigger show. I don't think it's ever got as big as maybe.
I don't think anything else will get as big as Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
we say now, but of course, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, also another character I want to point out quickly from the thing I saw. Luke Hemsworth's character shows up for a hot second, which is I'm glad we'll get to see more of him. But you'll be glad to know, Ashley, that his character is named Ashley. So
cool.
You got a Hemsworth relation.
Hemsworth. Yep, doing us proud. Next trailer up, we got, dual trailers, I guess, for a TV series coming to Amazon Prime, Carnival Row, which apparently was based on a spec script called A Killing on Carnival Row, created by Travis Beacom and Renee Efarachi, I believe. I believe he previously wrote an episode of that Philip Dick's Electric Dreams. That was a thing a while ago.
I forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah, he apparently did a treatment. I think he wrote or did script work on Pacific Rim, but it seems to be this series is a fantasy thing with mythical creatures who have fled their war-torn homeland and gathered in a city as tensions are simmering between citizens and the growing immigration population. At the center of the drama is an investigation to a string of unsolved murders which are eating away at whatever uneasy peace still exists. It looks interesting. I mean, the setting is interesting. It seems to like Victorian-esque setting.
Yep.
But with mythical creatures. They've got fairies and centaurs and different things with horns and stuff. They seem to be building it onto the romance. And I mean, it looks fine. I might check out a couple episodes, but I'm not like super down for it. I guess nothing really stood out. And yeah, Cara Delevingne doesn't really go, yeah, I need to watch what she's doing. And neither is Orlando Bloom recently. So
you're judging it on the actors? Come on now. I think they're both fine when they came in. I'm not one of these.
The role is right. Yes.
Yeah. I let me put it this way. I don't think Cara Delevingne is Oscar worthy actor, but I also don't think she's as bad as everyone acts she is. She was bad in Suicide Squad, but also I thought she was fine in like Paper Towns, and I've seen like half of that thing when I was at my Nana Pops, the fucking space
Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets.
Yeah, I've seen like half of that. She seemed fine in that, from what I saw, considering with the type of movie it was and these sorts of things. So I'm open to it. And Orlando Bloom is quite often the same for me. Sometimes I'm like, you're just playing the Orlando Bloom in this movie, and you know whatever else. But I like the look of this. I want to watch it because I like this style of. I like the setting, I guess. You know, the setting of the fantasy cross, like old style English clothing and whatever else. What do you want to call? Whatever you want to call
Victorian
this
era
show.
Stuff.
Yeah, Victoria era fantasy cross whatever. I like the look of it, and just solely because the way it looks and the cross of styles and the idea of it being like this kind of detective mystery type story thing happening, that intrigues me. It's not jumped to like my number one most anticipated thing for sure, but at the same time, I had no idea about it until this trailer, and then I watched the trailer. I was like, cool, I'll watch it. I'll at least watch an episode.
Yep.
I'll at least watch an episode. Yeah.
Because it's coming to Amazon Prime, and if you got Amazon Prime, you got Twitch Prime. And if you've got a free Twitch subscription, you should give it to us at Explosion Network. Twitch.tv/Explosion Network.
I was like, the joke doesn't work as well unless you actually...
Unless I follow through and get to the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got another look at the Harley Quinn animated series that's going to be coming to DC Universe. It looks very meta, I guess, esque. It feels like a Deadpool, like what the Deadpool cartoon would have been like. Wacky and zany, and people who like the original version of Harley Quinn will be disappointed. It's more of the New 52 look. She flosses. She hits Joker in the groin. It's amusing, I guess. Apparently, people liked it. They showed like a first episode, and they've been getting some good feedback. But I don't know. I think Kaylee Cuoco does the voice of Harley Quinn. I don't think it fits, or maybe I'm just so used to the Harley Quinn from the animated series.
You're used to Tara Strong Harley Quinn.
Yeah. But even she's not the original, is she? Not off the top of my head.
Tara Strong, animated series, yeah.
No, that can't be right.
Not Tara, fucking Tara Strong. Not Tara Strong. Tara, Jesus Christ. Tara, yeah, no, it is Tara Strong. Yeah, Tara Strong.
Is it?
Yeah. Who played it? Who else played Harley Quinn?
Arlene Sorkin.
No.
She was the original.
Original. Yeah. Well,
Tara Strong's been doing it a lot after that, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, when I think Harley Quinn, I think Tara Strong, so that's my go-to voice.
Yeah, it's those two, yeah.
I didn't mind the trailer for this. I wasn't like head over heels for it, but at the same time, I would like to watch it. I'm not like, this looks like the best thing ever. Look at all its adult jokes and stuff. And I see the flossing, and I'm like, that's probably my line. Like that's my line drawn for how hip and cool this show's supposed to be. But other than the flossing stuff, it didn't seem to be trying too edgy. Like there wasn't like heaps of swearing or like adult jokes or like it didn't seem it was trying to be too like we've got the MA rating or whatever it's rated with its jokes and stuff. And I don't mind the version of Harley and whatever else. And it's just like, does it actually have a story, or is it just like every episode it's kind of a Harley goes on an adventure type thing? Is that what it is?
I assume so. There's not going to be like a through line, I don't imagine. It's going to be a bunch of one-shots where she does a wacky adventure. Something weird happens.
Well, yeah. So in that case, sure, I'll watch it, and if the first episode is as good as everyone else was saying at the Comic-Con from watching it, then I'll continue to watch it. But if the first episode I'm like, this comedy style isn't really working for me or whatever, then I'm gonna probably just jump off after one episode, because I feel like the first episode would set the tone for if you're going to like it or not. It was hard for me to tell in the trailer though, because the trailer was like such a hectic cut mess of just stuff.
It was a lot in 1 minute. So
yeah, it was.
Yep. Guess continuing on the DC train, they've released a bunch of trailers for all their DC CW shows. I'll just quickly go over them. The Flash trailer pretty much set up their villain for this year, or who they, I guess, he's been cast as a recurring cast member for this season. He is Senthil Ramamurthy, who is most known for playing Mohinder Suresh in Heroes, the geneticist dude, who is the main person looking into the heroes. He'll be playing the character of Ramsey Rosso, who becomes Bloodwork, who apparently is a very recent addition to the DC universe, introduced in the comics in 2017, and is pretty much just like, he controls blood. And the big thing about him in the trailer is he's like, talking down against all the people, all the Team Flash people, saying they're all terrible, and the thing that they should be fighting is death, and he has somehow found a way to stop death. Interesting premise, I guess. The other thing, I think the thing overshadowing all these shows this year is going to be the upcoming Crisis, because everybody's really looking forward to that, and whether that kind of derails any overall season arcs, I think will be...
Everyone all year is just going to be like, okay, who cares? Just get me to the...
Yeah, get to the Crisis bit.
Get to the Crisis bit. And then post-Crisis, it's just like, okay. Yeah, okay. This is boring now.
Oh, we're back to this. So that's Flash. Then the Supergirl, I don't follow, but I watched the trailer. It looks interesting. Supergirl will split pants now. They mentioned Leviathan, which is a big criminal organization in the comics, but I think is also interesting that they're doing Brian Michael Bendis is currently doing a Leviathan themed event thing, where there's going to be a person called Leviathan, I think is the premise of the miniseries. But yeah, this season looks like apparently Lena Luthor, who's Lex Luthor's sister, has learned that Kara is Supergirl, and she's not happy about it. Being lied to all these years.
Well, they're BFFs in the show.
They were BFFs, now they're BFEs.
No,
BEFs. Best enemies forever.
Oh, that's sad. I know they're having Lex coming this season as well,
Yeah, he's coming back a bit more. I think he does I think it's him, he's just like a weird laugh. And then they showed a shot of him in that, his suit. His mech suit. Thing. Didn't look great. Yeah. But that's Supergirl. I'll keep tabs on it, but yeah. It's the one that I haven't been watching that I probably should, I think. It's the one of the big three, I think, that they build there.
Whereas when I was watching them, and probably the reason I burnt out on watching all the shows, is I was watching Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and then after 2 seasons of all of that, which is 4 episodes of fucking TV a week to watch at times when they're all on, I was like...
For 22 weeks, yeah.
I can't.
That's a lot.
This is a job. Watching this is now a job.
Yeah. Then they released a Black Lightning trailer, which was lengthy. It's like 5 minutes long. I don't know whether because I haven't been watching Black Lightning, I don't know if it's just recapping stuff that people need to know about Black Lightning. This
was my problem with all of these trailers, to be honest. Yeah. Because the ones I watched, I'm like, I don't know if any of this is new.
Yeah. It's interesting because this Black Lightning stuff looks a lot like the Young Justice. Like, how people were always stealing meta-kids. We're always trying to stop them stealing meta-kids. And apparently there's a Markovian thing happening in Young Justice at the moment. And they mention the Markovians in the Black Lightning trailer. So, interesting crossover synergy stuff, but looks fine. Probably. It's on Netflix, so maybe one day, but I've got no...
It's not connected to the rest, though, is the thing. It's it's its own thing.
Yeah, it's in its own universe. I don't... Whether they show up in the crossover, I mean, if it was, who knows? And then they did an Arrow trailer, which was pretty much just a recap reflection of the last 7 seasons, with a couple of new scenes at the very, very end. I thought it was cut together really good. I think I got emotional watching it. It just pulled at the heartstrings a little bit, just seeing, obviously, moments from the last 7 years. I think it worked really well. It was very well cut.
It made me go, I really wish I could have kept watching this show. And I really wish it was only 13 episodes long. Because I'm like, every time I'm like, oh, I could just this. I wish there was, and someone needs to invent an app that just tells you next week's a filler. Like, this week you need to watch it. This week you don't. This week you die.
Well, there probably is after it's finished. Like, now that the season's out on like Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, but then
these are the episodes you need to watch.
Then you have to think of, I'll be left
with episode. Make sure you turn the episode recaps on.
Something, yeah. But I like this whole recap thing. I was like, oh yeah. It got up to the stage where I stopped watching it. Season 4, 5.
It was kind of all mixed in, so yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like seeing some stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, this like I could gather what has happened, obviously, but
Yeah.
somewhat. I wasn't like completely lost. I was like, hey. And then it has the part at the end where it has all the arrowheads come down.
Yeah, because they use a different
was pretty
arrowhead
cool.
every season, and then
Yeah,
it's all 7 arrowheads at the last shot. So
I thought that was pretty cool.
that's smart. But yeah,
Yeah.
final season coming October. Let's get into a little bit of news. We got the first look at the Titans for DC Universe's Titans. You got Aqualad there. He's walking in with these shots are very blurry and not great. So thanks a lot,
Like
Titans
typical
Brazil.
Titan shots, just like the first season.
Yeah, why couldn't you just give us like good shots? Anyway, we see Deathstroke and Aqualad. Deathstroke looks like Deathstroke. He looks a bit skinnier than the Arrow version of Deathstroke, and with more spikes. I don't know why he needs so many spikes.
Because
Deathstroke.
spikes are cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Aqualad looks not like Jason Momoa. So what are you gonna do?
Absolutely nothing with this show. Are you keen for this at all?
Yeah, because the last thing they showed is I don't care if it's a spoiler or not, but the last thing they show is Superboy getting out of Cadmus with Crypto, and I want to watch that.
Yeah, because I keep having.
And they left it on a cliffhanger too. So
I literally had someone. I literally had someone 3 weeks ago or whatever, like a couple weeks ago, be like, try and tell me that the show's good again, and I keep being like, it looks so bad. But people keep being like, yeah, but it's all right, Dylan. I'm like, I don't know.
it's not
Like, do I just
perfect.
Well, yeah, no. Dude, if you told me it was perfect, I would be like, what were you smoking?
No, yeah,
So yeah, but
it has potential.
Fuck.
There's elements that are there, but then it does some cringy stuff or dumb stuff. So
You told me Superboy's in it with Crypto.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Superboy, there's Donna Troy, they're bringing the Ravager and Jericho. Jericho the character, not Jericho the wrestler.
Is
Or
Raven
Jericho
good in it?
Buddy's dog.
Is Raven
shit?
shit or good?
What?
Is Raven good or bad in it? And by that I mean like
Like
not as a
morality
person,
wise,
but
or
like, no, like quality wise.
I think it's. I mean, she
Not
acts like
watching
a
it.
teenage girl.
Not watching it without a good Raven. No, maybe I would. I kind of want. I like this. Yeah, I'm intrigued with the Superboy thing. I like Superboy and Crypto.
Superboy.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. We'll see. The photos from the season 2 stuff don't help though. That's for sure.
No.
Cool, good photos. They look
We
like
did
shit.
get some renewal news for the DC Universe stuff. Young Justice has been renewed for a 4th season. Yes. Even I would very much like it to come to Australia, please. And then Doom Patrol has also been renewed for a 2nd season and will soon be available. So it will also be streaming on HBO Max day 1 at the same time. And then season 1 will be added to the service at the same time. Which I guess is
Doesn't affect us.
not surprising, but also kind of surprising. Because they didn't mention any
What
of the other
part?
shows. It was just specifically Doom Patrol.
I think it's probably because it matches the style of content they're trying to sell on that service, which is more adult orientated, I guess. Because Doom Patrol's a more adult show.
Yeah, that's true. And also, it's been
I suppose
pretty
Teen Titans
critically acclaimed. It's got
I know,
95%.
This is the one. If you were like, Dylan, what is the one show that you haven't watched this year so far that you think you should for like end of year potential top 10 TV show type stuff? Weirdly enough, I would be like, I think it's Doom Patrol, because every single time I read anything about it, it just continues to be people saying the most underrated show or underwatched show, I guess, underwatched show of 2019. And so I'm just like, fuck, I really just should watch it because it's crazy. So, and they renewed it. It's been doing well critically. I suppose like the numbers will do better the more people like me are like, okay, I guess I'll check it out. So, yeah, I'm keen.
The numbers will do even better when they let people outside of America watch it.
That's a good point. Yeah, because the pirating numbers, they don't add up.
And I guess the last bit of news I want to bring up, they're bringing more characters to DuckTales. DuckTales season 3 is going to be coming out soon, and this season they're going to be bringing in Daisy Duck and Goofy are going to be part of DuckTales. They're going to bring in Dale and Monterey Jack from Rescue Rangers. They're going to bring Kit and Molly from Tailspin. And Gosling Mallard from Darkwing Duck. They're all going to be in the DuckTales.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a cool poster with all the DuckTales characters on it. It's crazy.
I need to go back and watch the second half of the first season.
Yeah.
I need to catch up on my DuckTales. I watched the first. I'm trying to look at it here to see how many there actually was. Was it 9 or 10? I think no, it must have only been 9. I watched all the episodes. There was 9 episodes released in 2017, and then from the 4th of May 2018 to the 18th of August, they got up to 23 episodes total for the first season. So I haven't watched any of those. I only watched the ones in 2017, and then for whatever reason, I never got back to it. Not because I didn't like it, but because just, reasons or whatever. So then apparently it continues into season 2 with this other 2008. It's very confusing fucking release schedule here. But nonetheless, from what I watched, it is very good if you like DuckTales or you have any sort of attachment, I guess, to that for that from like when you was a kid or anything like that. David Tennant is perfectly suited to play Scrooge McDuck.
Yep.
And then everyone else that does voices in it are very good as well. But David Tennant is like the perfect Scrooge, I think.
Yep. I remember watching the pilot because I think it was free on YouTube at the time as like a promotional push. But yeah, I definitely need to watch DuckTales because apparently I've heard nothing but a critical acclaim. Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
It's fun. So yeah.
Good, wholesome family fun.
Yeah. So that's kind of all the news I've got. Is there any other news out of Comic-Con in general that you feel like people need to know about?
Fuck, I really don't know. I feel like we've covered most of the big stuff. Other than the Marvel stuff, there wasn't really, because DC didn't do anything big this year. So
are you surprised?
But they announced it.
They've got Wonder Woman, Birds of Prey, Joker.
Yeah.
All in the.
I found it.
They didn't show anything.
A weird move. I thought it was a really, really weird move, and they did announce it months ago, so it wasn't like a sudden thing. But when they did announce it, I was like, "But you have Joker literally releasing this year, and then next year
in a couple of months,
a couple movies coming out the following year, and you're not going to do anything to hype them up." And unlike Disney, like if Marvel didn't show anything here, you'd be like, "Okay, cool. Well, they've got D23, they've got fucking whatever, they've got a million platforms." Warner Brothers, I'm like, okay, if you're not showing up to Comic-Con, what the fuck are you doing? Where are you going to do anything? Where are you going to release all this, like, hype people up? You got to play to a certain audience at Comic-Con. So, yeah, I feel like it was a bad move. And it kind of made Comic-Con this year feel a bit quieter on the news front, I guess, because I'd prefer them both to be there.
Yeah.
It's hyping up stuff, hyping up movies. I don't know.
I guess
my favorite Comic-Con year ever is the year that they announced Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
That was my favorite Comic-Con piece of news event thing that ever happened. I was never so much more excited than seeing that announced at the time. And I saw on my Facebook memories the other day come up. I wrote on my Facebook, I'm like, Man of Steel 2, fucking with Batman. Like, I was like... Of course, we later find out it's not Man of Steel 2. It's this...
just Batman
kind of
versus
isn't, kind of isn't. It's Batman v Superman movie, but at the time it was like, yeah, that blew my mind. So yeah, a bit sad about DC, but other than that, yeah, nothing else really to talk about.
I feel like the Marvel news has sort of overshadowed anything and everything else. Yeah, everything else is kind of drowned out with the Marvel news. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I guess that's what's gonna happen every year. Can't be helped.
Well, I don't think they'll be doing... Do you think they're back next year? I mean, they announced everything. Yeah. Do they need to come back next year?
I reckon they'll come back.
Or do they go to the Disney event?
I reckon they'll do them all. I wouldn't be surprised if they still announce stuff at D23.
It's true. Show some...
They could literally come out and show some stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's what... All you got to remember, it's like everyone's like, oh, Marvel overshadowed. Literally, all they did was announce stuff. They didn't show trailers. They didn't reveal anything massive other than fucking title logos and names and release dates. That's all they did.
Yeah. They just trotted out some actors.
Yeah. That's all they did. So D23, Black Widow footage, Black Widow trailer, something, I don't know, maybe. D23, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 casting announcement or synopsis or something. You know, like
the Disney Plus TV
X-Men
shows
teasers,
trailers.
Disney, something like, Disney Plus TV. Like, they've got so much shit happening, they can attend all the events. And why would you not attend next year when they can win it again? Why not win it?
Why not? Is Comic-Con a thing you win now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because I saw I thought a really good tweet. I don't know who tweeted it, but saw a really good tweet where it's like, video game industry, is E3 dead? Like, blah, blah, blah. I think it was David Milner, actually. It's like, video game industry dead. Video game industry is like, E3's dead. Let's trot out all these paid content creators to come out and fucking do this stuff. Whereas the movie industry is like, still like, hype levels intensify. You know, like, they're still happy to do big events like this and just march out cast members and announce stuff and be like, just feed off our hype. Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this special broken report of What Do You Want to Watch. Thank you very much for listening. Dylan, where can people find you on the internet?
All the places, Viva La Dil, VIVALADIL.
You can find me in those places, most places, Ashley Hobley, SHLEY. You can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod, or you can just go to explosionnetwork.com to see all our latest reviews, news, articles, podcasts, including past episodes of What Do You Want to Watch, in case you want to find out what did they reveal at Marvel's panel. If you haven't found out by now, you're probably living under a rock. Be sure to leave us a review either on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or just tell a friend that you need to hear about these broken reports. They're pretty solid. All right, until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess. Every Saturday, catch Arcade Couch Ashley and others when you listen to a brand new episode of Arcade Couch, the Explosion Network's variety video game podcast. Sit back, relax on the couch to chill with your friends and hear about the latest industry news, as well as our opinions on the latest releases and what we've been playing. Just search your podcasting app for Arcade Couch and subscribe for free now. Hashtag Physical Media Forever. Hashtag Physical Media 2038. Hashtag Cuties.
You know, by definition, they can't be solid if they're like...
That's true.
If they're broken, they're not very solid. I'd say they're very flimsy.
They're just fragile.
Fragile reports.